Hello, in today's video we are going to reclaim this Mumakil left abandoned on a shelf for nearly 20 years. In 2004, Games Workshop released the Battle of Pelennor Fields sourcebook, and with it came the mighty Mumakil. As a kid, having fallen in love with this model, my hard-earned pennies went on to buying this magnificent model. After which it was painted up to what could, if we're being very kind, be suggested to be battlefield ready, with its mishmashed colours, a lot of sprue bits not properly clipped off, and it's since taken a bit of a beating. It's lost a few pieces. I've managed to find its ear, and all in all it's not held up well to the passage of time. You can see where I've run my finger in the dust there. It's got cobwebs on it. It's going to be a project to restore this beast, but it is time. I've bought some Haradrim there in the background, and I've got a list ready, and finally it is going to make it to the table and not just a shelf. So as we've said, it's covered in dust and cobwebs. There are places where it's very poorly built. There are bits of sprue not quite clipped off. There are missing pieces. There's the tusk there missing. One of its ears, but fortunately we found that, complete with these blue little piercings. We'll have to see what we can do with them. And there's a fair bit of damage. It's quite in quite a bad way. This tusk has it's been given tusk weapons, which is a great idea, but the conversion work there is quite poor. So we're going to see what we can do. We're going to try and keep the original idea. It's 13-year-old me has done a job of doing war paint and those kind of things. We're going to see what original features we can keep in, and we're going to improve and expand on the idea. We're going to fix it up, and we're generally just going to see what kind of improvement we can make on this model. So first things first, this model is a bit of a health hazard. If you do suffer with allergies, even through the screen it is that dusty, you may start sneezing. So we're going to take this big brush. It's a large brush with fairly soft bristles, but hard enough that it should clear away this dust. And we're just going to see if we can clean it up. The astute among you will have noticed, especially from the lighting, that we are outside, because the amount of dust, even from very briefly starting off inside, was brutal. So we're going to continue outside. This piece has finally given way while vigorously dusting it, but you can see the colour difference there between the brown and that dust covered section there. It is unbelievable. Turn it around for the light. Those two identical bits, that is a massive amount of dust. 20 odd years worth of skin. We've finished off outside. We've just come in with a slightly damp brush now, and we're just giving it one last going over, because even though it seems to be dust free, you can still get a little bit of dust on your fingers. So we are just using this wet brush to get as much off as possible. The Mumak has dried off after it got a little bit wet from the brush, the damp brush. The water was starting to pool a little bit, but it's all dried off and it's looking quite dust free now. So the next stage is all of these little bits of sprue that are still on it. We're going to clip all of those off. We're going to tidy it up a bit, and we're going to start filling in these gaps with some green stuff and reattaching the ear and this panel that's come off there. So we've got some green stuff, clippers, knife, file and glue. That should be everything we need just to do this next stage of sorting out. here on this bit of howdah. We've got a massive bit of sprue. We're just going to clip that off. And then I'm going to use the file just to sand that down. Fitting the piece of howdah that goes there, we've reached a snag. This bit here was put on too high, so we've had to pull it off. And now, because it was poly cement, we're having to cut off all of the glue and plastic that's melded together to try and reform the pins to fit onto the anchor points. So that is going to be scalpel and a bit of luck. Everything's coming along quite nicely. We've reattached the ear, and all this green, we've just filled in these gaps. There were some fairly big gaps in the joins. We've filled all those, and it's also to help keep the ears on. There were some quite big gaps here and here, and of course you'll notice that we've reattached that, and you'll also notice that something is missing from the top. The howdah, both the top bit has come off from there, and then that bit has come off as well, but that's quite good as this was attached a little bit off center, so we'll be able to fix that, and it'll help in painting as well. You'll notice that this looks like it's rank and mouldy, but actually this is toilet roll which has been soaked in glue to attach this, and it has held for nigh on 20 years, so that's pretty impressive. But I think we'll sand all that off, and we'll use a combination of glue and green stuff to reattach that, and that will be just as strong. We've been sorting out this as well. We've had to remove some of these panels and put them back in. Some of them have had to be trimmed, and some of them have had to be extended slightly with green stuff. But all in all, it's getting a little bit better. There's less light coming through when you hold it at a different angle. So we're slowly getting there. We'll keep filling in the gaps. There's still a couple more lines to fill. Once all those have been filled in, we'll come back. The mould lines have all been filled. Everything's ready to start painting. And you'll notice this incredible two-tone here. If memory serves, it was painted in two halves and then put together, and they do not match. So first things first, we'll be re-undercoating. I think we'll probably undercoat all the grey and all of the brown back to brown. Kind of do a bit of a reset, and then we'll go from there. We're back, and the Mumak has had its coat of grey. We've done all of the undercoating in brown, and then we've just touched up all the red as well. It's very, very basic at the moment. We've left these. We'll have to deal with those at some point, and the tusks, but it's starting to take shape. We'll come back after we've done some of the detail work. We're jumping back in. We've done a little bit more detail work. Tried to do all the edging around the Mumak in gold, because that's what it was like originally. This stuff here, which I think is actually stitching, but there we go. They're obviously very rich with their gold thread. And in sort of a flesh tone, all of the rope, that'll hopefully look more like rope when we put a wash on it to finish off. There, done some war paint on the front. We've gone for a space theme. We've gone for the sun, moon, stars, kind of different to before, but very much in the same rough shape. It just kind of developed that way, and then undercoated all of the tusks in a flesh colour, ready to do something with when we've worked out what we're going to do with them, just to turn it into more of an ivory colour. And then finally the ears. Oh dear, it's showing up there that green stuff hasn't been properly coated. We'll go back and do that. Done the earrings there, and then the base is starting to shape up a bit with most of the colours down. We'll again just keep passing over and adding extra bits, and there's still some of that green grass coming through, just so that we don't fully get rid of that original snot green colour, or goblin green I think it used to be called, that was on the base originally. So again, we're going to keep doing some more work and we'll get back. You may be able to see as well, just before we go, a little horse there, if you can call him a horse, ready for a converted Haradrim raider who is on this lone horse while he gets painted up, so that we don't wreck the zebra. So again, we'll come back after we've done some more detail on the Mumak. Done a first attempt at the tusks. Just put on a really watery base of white and then sort of started dappling in some very watery brown at the top and just tried to kind of blend it all together. It looks okay. I'll see what it looks like once the full model has been washed and then probably keep working on it. And the wash is going to be next, so we'll come back once that's done. We've got the wash on. It's still brand new and wet, starting to look really good, although my prospects a little bit less, as I am now off to go and replace this brand new tablecloth with one that looks identical before the wife gets home. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. I'm also going to pop to Games Workshop to buy another Null Oil. Brand new. This was brand new. Look how much is left. So that wash of Null Oil has dried. I've replaced the tablecloth, and all in all, I'm really, really happy with how this is looking. The model does have a slight shine to it. There's obviously the camera's light, which is making that more noticeable. I might stick some form of matte kind of varnish wash on it, but other than that, I think that is good to go. Possibly some slight highlighting and detail work, but all in all, that is definitely battlefield ready and is definitely a big improvement on what it was before. So here is the Mumak in all his completed glory. A massive improvement on the dusty, cobwebbed beast from before. He's been reworked, repainted, and he has got a new lease of life. All that's left to do now is to get him on the table and have a game with this new and improved Mumakil. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.